cold water. If you want to run it as cold water. It's just cold though. You're going to want hot water. So, turn it here to hot. Go ahead. That was a burner. It's going to take about a minute for it to get up to maximum temperature, and then it'll see, when you let go of the gun, the whole machine shuts off. See, no burner, no pump, nothing's running, so that it can't burn itself up. You know how sometimes on some of your old units you let go of the gun, the pump is still spinning, the motor is still spinning, and then it ends up burning the seals up and stuff, overheats the pump and damages the pump. If I want to go hotter, I can go hotter, but we drop our down just a little bit. Right now, if I go ahead and pull the trigger. Pull the burner. So let's say if I want to go to 300, and open this up if you think you're going to be using it at that kind of temp. Most guys don't want that kind of temperature. So what we do, a little bit about what's under the hood here, just so you can see things. Number one, we have a nice inline water filter to keep any trash and debris from getting into the pump, especially with your crappy water. Very large oil capacity in the pump. We have a center unit that tells us and gives you an alarm if oil in the pump gets low, instead of, you know how sometimes the pumps leak oil or something like that and then burn up the back end of the pump because there's no oil in it, all bearings and everything. This has an indicator on it. If the oil level gets low, it'll warn you on the machine, set off an alarm. This uses what is known as a rotary type, we call it a wobble plate, but the closest thing that I can explain it to you as is like one of your Mazda rotary engines. It uses that style versus a piston and crank back and forth type motion. This wobble plate only spins one way, and what it does, it's at an angle. So what happens is this rotates, it pushes a valve spring that the piston is on and pushes the piston forward, and then the spring pulls it back, okay? Or one way or the other, however it goes. But anyhow, bottom line, it's kind of like the valve train on the top of an engine or a Mazda rotary engine where it's pushing the pistons back and forth with that plate moving in one direction. So it's a lot less wear and tear. There's no wrist pins. There's no back and forth jerky type motion like you have on a normal engine. Also, this pump is specific, or this motor is specifically designed for the pressure washer industry in that it's water cooled. As you'll notice here, there's veins. These veins here actually preheat the water before it even goes into the burner. So once again, being more fuel efficient, using less fuel than any of the others, and keeps the motor cool because the pump is always pumping water around the motor to keep the motor cool. There's no other motor out there in the industry that does that. For getting to the motor and doing work on it, all the mag starters and everything are right here in the box. You don't have to tear into the big electrical area. It's right underneath here. So your capacitors and mag starters are all right here underneath this electrical box. What else can I tell you? I mean, like I said, there is a number of things that I can adjust and do certain things to add more acid if needed. It has a temperature sensing probe, which you won't really find on many of any other pressure washers out there. Getting to the diesel fuel filter is nice and easy. It's right up here on top. For cleaning your diesel fuel. Just a very simple machine, and as I told you, it's a downfire burner. See, the diesel fuel is pumped in here to the top, and these are the electrodes that ignite the diesel fuel, shoots it down through the center of the coil, and then goes down all the way to the bottom, and then fires back up around the outside. So as you noticed, I was able to put my hand over the top of it, and it didn't turn into a crispy noodle. So let's say, for example, if I wanted to go steam, I can drop my pressure and turn it into a true steam cleaner. See, anything when you start going over 200 degrees or so, you're now talking about a true steam cleaner, and you need to drop the pressure and gallonage down a little bit. So now when you pull the trigger gun, go ahead and pull the trigger gun. 310 degrees right now. 310. Shut the burner off.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's what I consider.
And now you're running about 2 gallons a minute, 500 psi, 310 degrees. Multi-billion-dollar You're not going to get it. There's nothing out there that's hot. Now, if you wanted to go back to full pressure washer mode,